Good morning, sports fans. How you doing? It's Rick and Lee at the Freedom System. We are giving free real estate coaching to agents, and look forward to seeing you guys every morning. I know Dave and Matt and Rashawn and a bunch of others are, uh, good listeners that come every single morning looking for a little pump up, a little bit of motivation, some mindset, some energy, some tips and tricks on how to get going in real estate and make some cash today. So, one of the things we're going to talk about today, well, what do you want to talk about today? So, one thing to think about is just getting in the mindset today, right? So, I was supposed to have a guest today, for whatever reason. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, everybody. For whatever reason, my guest didn't show up today, right? That can totally rock your world, or you can just kind of roll with the punches. And that's going to be the same thing for just about everything in your life today. People are either going to show up, not show up. People are going to make your life harder, not harder, right? And my daughter chose to get in a fight with me this morning. No reason, just decided to. So things like that happen, right? And so you can get punched, you can get knocked off your game, and you still. I talked to Julie Harris one time. She's a fantastic coach. She's one of the leaders of Libertas and has one of the fastest growing groups in all of EXP. Number one coach, Amazon bestseller, all that, right? Successfully married, good mom, Tim and Julie Harris. And she said, Rick, because I asked her, I said, you have over 2,500 people in your group at EXP, and you might offer a free coaching session and 10 people show up. How do you do that? And she said, Rick, those 10 people need me today. I said, what a fantastic approach. What a fantastic opportunity to serve others at the highest possible level with that mindset. So if there's something you want to talk about today specifically, drop it in the comments. I don't have Lee to bounce off of. I don't have the net worth nurse to bounce off of today, so I'm just kind of winging it. And one of the things, if I had had more time to prep, but I did not, is going into some of my notes on other coaching sessions. And I was going to try to find something here just quickly, which is the survival guide. And if I can find the survival guide, we can dive into that. Let me see if I can. Can't. So what are we going to talk about today? So being on the show has helped me focus on my work every day, even in the absence of results. I've been prospecting every day, barely been able to set any appointments or get any listings, but I'm still showing up and making calls every day. And I've been prospecting more than ever. Thanks for the inspiration. Well, thank you, Matt. Really appreciate that, because it does get results. And I'll tell a little story. Yesterday, I went swinging for the fences. So FSBOs, for sale by owner. Most of you know that. And you can look at a FSBO and say, wow, this is a dog. They don't want to pay a realtor, or you can change your mindset. So yesterday I was swinging multi-million-dollar FSBOs that have been on the market for over 100 days, right? And in our market, 19, 20 million doesn't happen very often. In fact, 9 times in the past 2 years. But I went swinging for a $19.5 million FSBO. Managed to get a hold of a gatekeeper, because on a property like that, owned by a billionaire, did a little background search with some wealth management tools that I have. And there's always a gatekeeper, right? That kind of owner is not going to do their own FSBO. So talk to the gatekeeper. And I was talking about our unique selling proposition, but I started with out of curiosity, leading with curiosity. I said, with a home as miraculous as this, as fantastic as this, and as rare as this in our market, you don't come across a 19.5 listing very often. You obviously probably know hundreds of realtors. Can I ask why you're not using one? Why you choose to go for sale by owner? Are you trying to just keep this a little more quiet? And he said, yeah, I think that's the reason, right? So I started digging into that. I'm like, well, being on Zillow for sale by owner is not exactly quiet, right? You still have to put some pictures up. You're still going to get pinged by a lot of looky-loos, and making the gatekeeper's job really hard. Plus, 160 days on market, this guy's not getting the job done, right? The home's not selling the way it's selling. And they did list it for sale for some reason originally. So I'm trying to dig into the reason. And I am trying to find the reason why they're selling. I'm trying to find the motivation behind why they won't hire a realtor. And it's going to quiet down my phone and all the telegrams and everything else that are going on in the background. So I dove in, right? And I started saying, well, what can we do that's unique to sell the home quietly? Unfortunately, I have some tools for that, right? And as a new agent, you might not have these tools, but I'm part of a global network of luxury agents, and we have proprietary software and that allows us to connect off-market homes with ultra high net worth and high net worth sellers and buyers, right? And if you don't have connection to a luxury network like that, and you want to take advantage of my network like that, just reach out to me, right? If you have a $4 million, $5 million, $20 million, $100 million listing, and you're wanting to have an edge, I can co-list that with you. We can work out the splits and whatever, but as long as I'm on the listing, I can help you with that listing. So right now, the conversation went well enough with the gatekeeper that he said, hey, let me run it up the flagpole. I said, well, can I send you some information? So then I called the founder of our luxury network. I said, hey, 19.5, that's like the top 0.1% of homes in this market. I need to rely on the success stories of our network to show them that this is going to be successful. Can you jump on that three-way with me? Because even in a real estate sale, sometimes even on a listing presentation, just like with agent attraction, sometimes you need someone else in on the sale to help you close the deal, right? And I've been an agent for, almost 20 years now, right? I'm a lawyer, MBA in marketing. I know what I'm doing, right? I've sold $1 million properties before. But when you're trying to leverage something new, you lean into somebody else that's done it for longer than you, right? And the person that I'm tapping for a three-way call just sold a $65 million listing in Jackson Hole. It was double the sale price of anything else that's sold up there. And so when I'm saying like, hey, how can we get the job done? I need the chops of our whole network because I'm relying on the network to be our sales tool to get me in the door for this listing against all the heavy hitters in our neighborhood, right? And in this neighborhood where this home sold, there've got to be 10 realtors that live there. I know there are 10 realtors that live there that own that neighborhood, right? But there's a reason that they weren't tapped for this. So I see that as an opportunity. I don't see that as a challenge. I don't see that as an obstacle. I see that as an opportunity to dive in and do something that they were not tapped to do, right? They can go out to the Compass and the Sotheby's and the Kentwood and all these other big brands and leverage those brands and put it in the magazines and get it out there, right? But that's not what the owner asked for. The owner asked the gatekeeper to put it on Zillow for sale by owner. Now, that's unusual, right? And so that is an opportunity. And there might be homes like that in your neighborhood or homes like that in your area that are outliers, right? They're the big dogs. Do you know what an outlier is? So when you have a scattergram and everybody's right here, and an outlier is like bing, way up there. Like it just blows the margins, right? It's either too high or too low, and it blows your averages. So typically when you're doing a CMA, you get rid of the outliers and you kind of focus on what's in the middle, unless your home is going to be the outlier. But sometimes on Zillow, there are outliers. Reminded me, and so chase them. And if you need help chasing a luxury one, contact Lee, contact me. For the next 2 weeks, contact me. 303-589-2320. Also reminds me to get creative because I went on a for sale by owner appointment a couple of weeks ago now, and it was $1.5 million, which is still a pretty strong price point for our neighborhood or for our 7-county area. And when I went on the listing appointment, I found out he's actually let in a lot of realtors through his door, right? Because he thinks if he keeps letting these realtors in for these listing interviews, he's actually going to sell the home that way. And the most unusual competition that I had was not from the other heavy hitters in our area or the proactive prospectors in our area. That's what I mean by heavy hitter, right? And the proactive prospectors are going to be the ones that are selling 30, 40, $100 million in homes. So that makes them a heavy hitter in our market. And so the proactive prospectors. And here was the most unusual competition I ran into on that listing interview was someone from Los Angeles who had an HGTV show. They had an assistant calling around the country for sale by owners, apparently over $1 million. And they were going to refer them to an agent here. They were going to use their celebrity to land the listing and then refer it to a local agent and make 30%. I thought, wow, what a clever business model. All they've got to do is hire an ISA to just go scour Zillow every day, pounding $1 million plus FISBOs, leverage the celebrity, and then find a local agent to clean up, right? They don't even have to do the work. They've got an assistant working at $8 an hour, $10 an hour, maybe even $2 an hour over in the Philippines, right? $1,000 a month. And they're going to make 30% referral fees. So they can just run that machine nonstop. Now, obviously, they're going to have to get on the phone at some point once the ISA makes an appointment. But the point of that being is that no one is immune. And if you have, to Matt's point, like getting motivated for prospecting, there's and to Lee's point from a couple of shows ago is that you have skill. You have a package to offer. You have training. You have marketing. You have something. You have a heart. If nothing else, you have a heart and enthusiasm. And that will set you apart from your competition. Because I think something like over 44% of people give up after the first call, right? And yet something like 80% of the sales are made after the 7th call. And so if you merely make it to the 7th call to a lead, if you merely make it to the 10th call trying to get a hold of a lead, make 3 calls today. Don't leave a voicemail. Make 3 calls tomorrow. Don't leave 1 voicemail, right? But just keep hitting the dialer. If you get tired of dialing, go on to Mojo or somebody and get a dialer. RedX has a dialer built in. I think LandVoice does all these call systems. I think Lee uses Cole for information, but uses Mojo to dial. And you can literally record a voicemail once, right? You can set up your call system to just start blowing through stuff. And this is just a time-saving tool, and it costs like $90 a month or something like that. And some of you might not have $90 a month, and I understand that. When you get to a point where you do, if you can speed through the dials, so dialing a phone doesn't seem like it would take a long time, right? So you dial a number, you call, you ring, you wait. Okay, voicemail, wait. Hey, I'm Rick Jansen. Then you have to be enthusiastic for every one of those. But those calls can now take a minute and a half each, right? Whereas if you have a dialer and it's blowing through numbers in your system, whether they're FISBOs, expireds, whatever you downloaded, circle prospecting, you can choose to press 1 and just drop a voicemail that you recorded one time when you were high energy and on your game. It'll drop a voicemail and just start the next one. So it's literally calling the next person while it's leaving a voicemail. So your time just became doubled, right? Because it overlapped. Now you're twice as productive. And yeah, Matt, great. You're calling older expireds. You made 6 to 10 attempts already. That is fantastic. Because, and always on expireds, check whether they're active right now. But an expired is someone whose dreams were crushed. They wanted to sell. They had a motivation to sell, whether it was reluctant or not. They went to market with the dream of selling. And then because their home was either marketed poorly or priced too high or a combination of both, they did not sell. They fired their agent or their agent fired them. And I took a listing one time where the agent had fired the client. And still, at the end of the day, I made $27,000 because I solved their problem, right? And I solved their problem in a way that nobody else had. I got their home sold in a way that nobody else had, and I marketed it in a way that nobody else had. Was that listing interview a challenge? Absolutely, right? For sale by owners and expireds, have their guard up right out of the gate, right? And they're saying like, hey, like I decided not to sell, right? The market's not right for me. And if someone comes to you with a decided not to sell, you go, yeah, but why? Like what? Go back to their original why. Why were you interested in selling in the first place? Oh, I just wanted to see if I could get the price. Yeah, and if you could get the price, what were you going to do? Well, I was going to go to Montana and fly fish and retire, or I was going to go to Florida and stay with my granddaughter, or whatever it was, right? They dig, why, like a 3-year-old until you get to the original reason why they were going to sell. There was a reason. Hey, if I could get the price. Okay, so if you could get the price today or even 10,000 more, what's changed? I just don't know. Can't find a house to buy. Okay, well, if we could solve that problem, right? Why? Like, why don't you think you can find a house to buy? I can't find anything. Well, why is that? What are you looking for? I can usually find my clients a home in 7 to 10 days. Are you looking for something with 45 bedrooms? Or, what's so unique? Are you looking for a home with a helipad under 200,000? Like, what are you looking for that's so unique? Make it kind of a joke, try to get them laughing. But like, what is it that's so unique that you can't find it right now? Apparently you haven't been working with an agent, or at least a good agent, right? So try to find out why. Why were they trying to sell? Why were they trying to buy? Why? Every time they throw up an objection, say, okay, why is that? Why is that? What? And repeat back to them what they were saying, right? Do some effective mirroring and some listening and some active listening, right? So if somebody says, my granddaughter decided that she doesn't want us near her anymore, well, that wouldn't necessarily press into that one very much. But is okay. So if you were to sell, if your home were to sell, if I were to get you the absolute best price possible with the terms that you want in the time frame you want, and you could get everything you want out of this home sale, is there something else you'd like to be doing with your life? Is there somewhere else you'd like to be living? Don't ask open-ended questions. Don't ask yes/no questions. Ask open-ended questions and try to figure out what is it that was getting them moving. And keep coming back to, hey, if I could get you the price you want in the time frame you want, with the terms and conditions you want, and there was no stress, and you just had a big pile of cash sitting in your lap and bank account, what would you do with that? Get them dreaming again, right? Someone squashed their dreams. Get them dreaming again. Your job as an advisor, as a counselor, as a consultant, as a professional. And yeah, if I could get you everything you ever wanted, would that be an issue for you? Absolutely, a great line. And so you're trying to, but even beyond everything you ever wanted, you want to dive deeper into that, right? You want to unpack that a little bit. So I'm going to get you the price you want. I'm going to get you the terms and conditions you want. I'm going to get it in the time frame you want. And you and the spouse, you and the loved one, whatever it's going to be, can go on and live your dreams. What would those dreams be? Right? And, to put a time frame on it, if I could get that for you within the next 7 days, would you take a look at it? Would you take a look at that offer if I could get that for you in the next 7 days? Well, yeah, I guess. I might need your help then, right? I might actually need to be able to come over and see your property, see what I'm working with, see who it's going to appeal to. I've got a lot of buyers working in your area. In Denver, we've been on 1 or 2 months inventory for 6 years. We're down to 1 or 2 weeks, right? There is such pent up demand. Just popped an active listing up in Conifer for $850. And we had beautiful remodel place, view of the mountains, down valley, all that stuff. We have 20 showings lined up. I had 2 get in early by accident. One of them already wants to make an offer. And so my client's like, look, we're listed at 850 with this kind of demand. Let's go 925, or maybe I'll just hold it because it's such a beautiful property, right? And you're going to run into sellers like that, right? He's all of a sudden getting fear of missing out, fear of loss of the property he's going to sell. So I have to keep him attached to his dream. I have to figure out where he's going to move on to if we move this money, because he's an investor. If he moves his family in there, where else could his family live? What does this look like for him? Because you go through all the marketing effort, and then a seller decides not to sell. So he is pre-qualified. I do pre-qualify all my sellers, right? I find their motivation. You want to pre-qualify your sellers. You want to pre-qualify your buyers, because you want to make sure that you're actually going on an appointment that's worth something. Now, pre-qualifying a seller when you're prospecting, like when I was talking to this $19.5 million FSBO, he's not the decision maker, right? He's not going to be the one selling the house. He's a gatekeeper. So I'm pre-qualifying. I'm just saying, hey, how do I get to the gatekeeper? What do I have to send you? What do I have to be for you? What value proposition do I have to offer you that will actually get me in front of the gatekeeper? Because I want to be in front of the decision maker. Because I want to be in front of the decision maker, not the gatekeeper, right? But the gatekeeper is there for a reason. He has a job to keep people out, right? And if he's going to let somebody in, it damn well better make him look really good to the owner, right? Like, hey, I screened 100 people, and man, this guy just had something different. This gal had something different and offered something different. And I think you might want to take a look at this one, right? So that's where I am on that one, swinging for the fences. Someone might say, well, do you offer a different commission on 19.5? And, maybe I will, right? Because even 2% of 19.5 is $380,000 to $390,000. That's still a heck of a lot of money. I know someone recently who did 2% on over 60 million. So if I can get that, awesome. I'd like to take a $1.2 million commission too. So don't think that just because it seems like a lot of money to you, that it's going to be a lot of money to the seller. That if they're willing to pay for value, if they think they're going to get value, if they're going to make more than you're going to cost them, then you're worth it, right? So I'm going to go out there today thinking, you know what? I'm worth $1.2 million commission on one home. I'm worth a $500,000 commission on one home. And guess what? So are you. You're worth a $500,000 commission on one home. If you can bring the value, if you can bring the skill, if you can bring your A game, and if you can't, partner up with someone who can, right? So that's it for today, folks. I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter. We're going to go 20 minutes instead of 30. But I hope this has been helpful to you if you're listening today. Matt, thanks for showing up. Everybody else, thanks for your comments. I tried to get to as many of them as I could. And if you're watching this live, if you're watching this on a recording, hit notify, hit subscribe. Text us on off hours, 303-589-2320. Right with a specific problem. Let's see if there's something we can help you solve. We can move you forward, help you achieve the freedom that you look for in your life. So you can do what you're put here to do, which is serve others at the highest possible level and not just work here for a job. And not just work here for a paycheck. You're here for freedom. All right. So in any event, this is Rick Jansen, 303-589-2320. Thanks so much. Have a great day. God bless you.